In our previous video we had a chance to create a simple pipeline job to build, test and deploy code to a target machine using a Jenkins file. In this video we will do the same action using a downstream job strategy with help of GitHub. Make sure you have a GitHub account for this demo where the Jenkins files are stored. Also make use of the sample scripts that I am using for this demo for your practice in your local machine. Link for the GitHub repository will be given in the description. Also, if you want to set up a simple pipeline, then here is the card for the video. Let's get into the action. We are going to use two jobs for understanding how downstream jobs work in real time. Let us create two pipeline jobs inside a folder in Jenkins. Let us name the folder as Downstream and save the folder settings to default. Let us name the first job as Main Job. Let's navigate down to the pipeline settings and enable Git SCM so that we can run the job with the help of Jenkinsfile. I am going to select Git from the SCM tab and enter the Git repo link in the repository URL tab and select the appropriate credentials which I have stored in Jenkins. If you are not sure how to save credentials in Jenkins, then please have a look at the video in the card. I am going to leave the branch to build option point to master as all my code is in the master branch of GitHub repository. If you have your code in some other branch, then please enter the proper name under this tab. Then under the script path, we have to enter the proper Jenkins file path relative to GitHub repository. In my GitHub repo, I have stored my Jenkins files for this demo under two folders, namely Main Job and Downstream Job. You can see a Jenkins file under the Main Job folder. This is the sample Jenkins file for the main job. I have the same steps as the simple pipeline job that we configured in the previous video except the last stage. Here the last stage is going to be triggered as a downstream job based on the condition from the build parameter. If you have a closer look at the last stage, you can see a build job parameter, where I have mentioned the path to the downstream job configured in the Jenkins. Just to be on the safer side, I am going to use the absolute path of the downstream job configured in Jenkins. Coming back to the Jenkins configuration, let's give the proper script path where the Jenkins file for the main job is located in the GitHub repository and save the configuration. Just to verify if the configuration is correct, let's run this build and see how the console output comes. Here you can see Jenkins has downloaded the Git repository and checked out to master branch as we have configured. Also, all the echo statements are executed properly except the last stage as expected. Let's go back and configure the second job called Downstream Job. Here I am giving the same name as given in the main job's Jenkins file. Let's configure the downstream job with proper GitHub URL and script path relative to GitHub and save it. Now let's go and trigger the main job with a server name and set deploy code parameter to no. Let's navigate to the console log and check what happened. Here we can see the last stage has been skipped since we chose the code deploy parameter as no. Let's again trigger the main job with deploy code parameter as yes and see how the build happens. Here you can see the last stage has been triggered as a downstream job. You can directly navigate to the downstream job from the link in console output. On the second job, you can see the last stage has been executed successfully and notification has been sent. By this way, any downstream job can be designed and triggered. All we need is a useful scenario or a compatible problem statement. You can add any number of stages to the Jenkins file to have much more control over the automated process. In your next video we will see how to create an upstream job for this same automation flow. Until then.